Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 2025 Le Mans Classic. Peter Auto and the ACO. Possibly the best and strongest grids that we are going to see are in these first three races today, Andrew. Clearing the grid now with the 3-minute hooter. 30 seconds. Absolutely right.
Feet outside the white lines.
There's the countdown.
Gosh, some quick running from second place on the grid. So Maxwell Lynn has been taking the right protein.
3 Weetabix picks for him this morning. Get the cars fired.
Oh, well done with the Cobra.
There's the classic shot. There is the classic shot with the Bizzarini absolutely squealing the tyres. Porsche coming through, one of the smaller engine cars from the back, and this was the chaos of the start to the 24 Hours of Le Mans, for getting on for half of its history.
But of course, John, in the very, very early days, as you mentioned earlier, the ones with the largest engines started at the front. Just have the little nippers, they'd get out faster, but then as soon as the more powerful cars had the power down, they'd blast out. But here they're just getting into formation. After the first two went showboating with Liam Hazeman taking the prize for the hilarious getaway in that black or very, very dark blue Bizzarini, we settled down. This is a formation lap.
There was so few incidents, Andrew, on the starts.
Yeah. Well, he gets a helping hand.
Keep an eye out for it here. You'll see it coming out, the little red 911. And they were in the booth earlier today, and we've spoken to them a couple of times in the past, and they're smashing lads, really embracing their father's enthusiasm. And today would have been their dad's birthday.
Yeah,
and what a way to honour him with the start that they've just pulled out of here. There he goes. Yeah, you're right. That's incredible. So how did you do on the start, mate?
Yeah.
Oh, I made up
32 places.
32 places.
And I'd just like to tip my hat, if I would. I said it was Maxwell Lynn from the front drivers who was quickest across. Not at all. It was Ludovic Caron, and he's giving away several decades. So he had his focus right there to run across and get into his GT40, car number 22.
If you're joining us, welcome. This is Le Mans. This is Le Mans Classic 2025. Become the Peter Auto Classic Le Mans Series. To the tricolour then for the first race of the Plateaus in the substantive Le Mans Classic for 2025. The lights are green, the race is go, and jumping away the Ford GT40s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them head towards the first corner, and the darker blue car with the yellow stripe looks to have the inside line into Dunlop chicane, but very, very brave on the brakes around the outside and under the Dunlop bridge for the first time. It's a classic television shot as they go out of sight with the tails away, and well done to the director for holding on to that tails away shot for just a little moment longer. Down through to the Forest S's, and it's all Fords at the front, and the Bizzarini is the first non-GT40, exactly as we expected. And you can just see the helmet over the top of the header rail there, side by side at the front, and the classic red and white colours trying to come down the inside to the Daytona chicane, but can't make that one work. Pirot still in third position, and then coming through Ludo Caron as they file through, and those top six, Andrew Marriott, are breaking away.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Belgian got past Lynn again. I didn't quite see how he did that. Seemed to be just on pure speed.
Yeah, they've moved up a position there on the first screen, which means they're in the top 36 in the best of the 2-litre Porsche 911s, the GTS 11 cars. But just settle yourself down. Try not to get too excited about this, because this is what's going to be happening in 43-minute chunks for the next 24 hours.
18 races.
Brilliant. It works so well. Absolutely brilliant.
Can I just wind it back to what Emanuele Pirot said on the grid? He would be using his Le Mans experience. And you think that suggests pacing myself, controlling things. There he is, he's blasted from 6th place up to 3rd, and he's absolutely, as you said, giving chase. Not everybody got to go. The Engrand car, unfortunately, MGB, bonnet up. Mine used to do that.
Down.
Yeah. Beautiful. MGB. Love the colourway on that as well, with the racing stripes. Racing stripes are making a comeback, and I thoroughly approve of that. Pirot again, side by side into one of the trickier parts of the circuit, the no-name right-hander before Indianapolis. Then he goes to the over the top and then underneath. Now he's on the wrong side again for Arnage here in the just off-white number 65, turning in and gets it done. A little bit of smoke coming from the Irish registered number 83.
Yeah, well, Maxwell Lynn just slightly outbraced himself, got it back onto the track, but clearly couldn't have the acceleration, and that was when Pirot pounced. Oh dear, Alex Furiani, his Alfa Romeo tucked away behind the barriers. So Alfa fans, don't worry, there are some others in the race, but always sad to see such a beautiful car drop out.
They've added a few extra cars.
They have, on the back as well. Yes, look, front and back.
Oh, and he's gone very wide at the second chicane. That looked like a brake issue for the Tejero and the hand-finished bodywork, and that, I think, is that car's day done as well. No. And this, for anyone who has hopes of getting a decent result, like this beautiful green Ferrari down in the pit lane. That's the Jan Magnussen car, isn't it? Yes, it is.
It is. It's the 275 GTB, which to me never looks like a likely racer. It is so elegant. Look at the AC Cobra. Not elegant, but very, very effective. That's the counter car, the one that's flaming out there. But the AC Cobra is going, you know what, I'm just going to get away from you. I don't want that smell. I'm going to give you the pass. But, oh, dear. There was the number 33 Alfa Romeo we mentioned, pulled off. 72, the Fillon car. This is Francois Fillon and André Raulin. 3 abreast. Sorry, I just have these moments. I look at the screen, it's just almost too glorious for me.
All the liquid came out into the car, into the pedals. So there's no real use continuing, so stop, try to fix it. So at least the guys can have some fun for the rest of the race. But yeah, other than that, a fantastic event. So thankful to be here to drive these cars in front of all these people, loving every moment of it, even the moments that aren't going so well.
With 2 E-types ahead of it, it's like somebody's got a very expensive Skeletric set.
That's a big shot.
This is the number 24 Jaguar. This is the Verling and Lecu car in the 1964 coupe. We're seeing rather too much of the straight 6 engine there. He's just got a swapper on, I think. Yes, he has, and that's through the end of the Porsche curves. There's not that much room around there, and some of that concrete is unguarded. Carlos de Quesada, by the way, whilst we were talking to Jan Magnussen, had a spin and recover in his Porsche GTS. I think this is a bit too early, and one of the TZs has got a broken left rear suspension, or maybe a drive shaft even has gone. Well, that car.
Yeah, that was one of the Argentinian ones. That's the one with the lovely Argentinian flag on its tail. Oh, pit stops. Gosh, all problems, they suddenly come in flurries, don't they?
Yeah.
Sean Lynn he's 25 seconds further back, but this is good to see. Not the broken E-type, but the fact the driver has climbed out, because it was quite a big hit.
Problem at Arnage for another one of the triple driven cars, the E-type. Now that was a Ford GT with a door that's been opened and closed. They are right-hand drive cars, of course, and a moment or two ago they're recovering elan down the inside. Now I think a Porsche 911 of that age is a small car. It looked huge next to that elan, didn't it?
The elan was a scale model, I feel, in comparison.
7/8 scale, a bit like a midget racer. We got the leaders coming through the traffic as well now. Some of the faster cars maybe that didn't quite qualify versus Ford at the front of the field with the Van der Lof 250 LM, the first non-Ford, and then the Shelby 289 behind it, which is another Ford engine, of course, and then the Lee Moore, Phil Keen Jaguar E-type, keeping the engine and the brakes, the intakes and the brake intakes cooler.
No great concern down there.
Out goes the blue number 28, that's the Breitmeyer car.
Father Sean Lynn tucked in behind in the car with the number plate Tessie, the blue one with the red stripe. Remember, he was about 35 seconds down on that leading trio of cars. But where's Emanuele Pirro going to be related to this when all those pit stops have been completed? I tell you, actually, he'll be in the pits because he'll have handed over to Hans Jugenholz.
But he's the kicker. What Emanuele Pirro does not want to happen now is for the slow zones to be withdrawn. He's gambling on those being out for a little while, because if they disappear, everyone else will have had the benefit of at least a partially neutralised track. As he talks, as he plays football, as he does everything.
Yes, if you've got a gentleman driver, you're going to try and go as far as you can.
Now the problem is now, though, that the track is clear. So they're doing their pit stop on a full green track, and everybody that they were racing had a third to a half of the track under some form of slow zone, yellow flags on neutralisation. I actually thought that was Pirro's helmet when I first saw that earlier on. My apologies for that. Yeah.
Marginal technical problem. It's better to get it sorted and have two good races. Let's take a look at overtaking on the start finish straight. It is possible. You wouldn't expect an E-Type to be able to get up and challenge a Bizzarini in a straight line, but clearly a better exit from the final corners worked. Spectacular flame out from that E-Type.
I was going to say the afterburners help, which I'm not sure were standard equipment.
Optional extras. Very optional. They're going to have to work their way through traffic, a whole gaggle up ahead, but these are the quicker back markers. Shouldn't be too... Oh, I shouldn't say that. It's about to be a problem for them. Yeah,
Emil actually had negotiated the traffic very, very well and actually pulled out about half a second. But now, as in contemporary racing, traffic giveth, traffic taketh away. And he caught some just before Mulsanne corner and had to really throw the anchors out the...
Well, you know that's going to be the case, the Jaguar E-Type, but particularly the Alfa Romeo. That's history to them.
I tell you what, that Maxwell Lynn car is going to be good at night, because they are not period bulbs in that car. Not at all, being that white at this time of day. Down into the Arnage right-hander. Oh, that is just absolute quality. Both drivers getting into the throttle as early as possible. He's going to have to use the traffic carefully here, because he has not got the straight line speed of that lead car.
He doesn't, does he? Absolutely. He's still puffing smoke out, but as I said just a few minutes ago, he doesn't have to win this, so maybe they can fettle it a bit.
That's a good point.
Because it is
the long game.
Play the long game, exactly.
John's point about you picked this up early, the acceleration. Remember, we had Maxwell Lynn just trying to take the lead, and then suddenly coming out of the final corner.
I tell you what, this is a quality race going on at the front of the field. It might not be door handle to door handle, but these guys are having to make the decisions that multi-class racing demands of drivers from all eras, has done for many years now. So is there still Alex van der Lof in this? You thought you saw Jelmer?
I did, Jelmer, unless I don't know what Alex van der Lof looks like without his helmet. If he's the identical, if he's the spit of Jelmer Berman, then it was him, but it was Jelmer Berman outside the car.
That's the car I see.
Yeah.
That is with the way that the rear fenders come up and over, and I have the intake on the back of it.
But you're Clive Joy, you've made a lot of money out of aircraft leasing, you've collected some lovely Ferraris. If you want to paint it blue, it's your game.
Absolutely, I am just enthralled by this battle. There are points on the circuit. Maxwell Lynn, he takes more speed into the corners, does not have the grunt, but either side of an AC camera. Here we're talking Schumacher and Hakkinen all those years ago, that going up the Kemmel Straight at Spa-Francorchamps, boom, starburst formation they were around a back marker.
That was my only Formula One TV commentary that I ever did. So
and what did you say at that point, or were you just go?
There was a sharp intake of breath from me and my German compatriot, actually.
He's really got right up the exhaust pipe. He can smell the fumes in the cockpit now.
It looks as though the red and white car, the Maxwell Lynn car, is running more rear camber. And
there's that smoke again.
But there it is. Is it when he goes back to throttle, or is it when he comes off? I think
when he comes on to the throttle.
I think so. It's an odd one. But watch how much he takes out of the leading car through some of the medium quick corners.
Yeah, that's the very point.
It's not look, that's a very fast corner. He's made up nothing. But watch through the last two, or the middle two right-handers in the Porsche curve. So he makes up a little bit here, but look at this next one. He really makes up some ground in this one and the next one.
And I tell you what he does as well. He's later on the brakes at every corner you're having to brake for. But then you get out of a corner, and Emil Breitmeyer's got more grunt. That is for sure. But Maxwell Lynn could even be pressuring him into a mistake. But what's left on the clock? Just 30 seconds. That means the checkered flag will hopefully be stayed for another lap. We'll get, because I don't want this race to end. First of 3, but bring them all on.
The other thing I'll tell you is Maxwell Lynn is using more curb than Breitmeyer. Breitmeyer decided to go up the inside of the 2-litre car ahead of him, and he's almost locked it up, and that is the door open for the red and white car. Surely now that extra grunt will not tell, but it is.
It will. It seems to be that much stronger, because Maxwell Lynn's having to really hang it out everywhere, take the risk. Emil Breitmeyer is not quite point and squirt, but in comparison he is.
And it's half a second at the line, a defensive line by Emil Breitmeyer. You're defending fresh air there, Emil. You did not need to do that. Out fully crossed up, and they're side by side under the Dunlop Bridge. Oh, how glorious is it to say that, at least for a moment, dropping down the hill now and towards the Forest Esses. They are both suffering. They have tortured their tyres here, and they're both suffering for front and rear grip. This is the last lap of our first of the substantive races, down towards Tertre Rouge and onto the first part of the Mulsanne Straight as they go past the blue Ferrari. And again, Max Lynn seems to be able to place his car in all sorts of different areas of the track. He's staying out to the right here, trying to get a bit of air onto the intakes to make sure that his brakes are nice and cool by the time they get to the Daytona chicane. Shelby Cobra ahead of them. And 2/3 of a lap still to go.
I think that's I'm not sure if it's his brother or father, but that gentleman there.
Yeah,
another
Breitmeyers have an amazing array of cars.
That's absolutely stuffed the leader.
The traffic, and the Cobra decided to suddenly change its line, and that has really compromised Emil Breitmeyer. When they come into picture,
he's lost the place.
He's lost the lead. The dark blue with yellow stripe GT40 in second place. Let's see what he does when he's the hunter, not the hunted. Remember,
he's around the outside, Bruce. He got straight in behind Maxwell Lynn. Max pulled to the left-hand side of the track, but Max should be able to hold him off on the brakes into the second chicane on the Mulsanne Straight. Can they both get past the E-Type? Yes, they can. Halfway around the last lap, or thereabouts. And Max Lynn now has to make the advantage count. He was there. He had the opportunity. He bought the ticket and won the raffle when the Cobra just checked up the leading GT40.
Maxwell Lynn, in terms of driving talent, has just risen and risen this year. But again, the sheer grunt, but I've almost never seen someone drive a GT40 as sideways as this. But of course, having to take fewer risks because he's got a bit more horsepower is Emil Breitmeyer. However, Maxwell Lynn does not give up.
Use the Bizzarini.
Out of the way, the Bizzarini may be his friend and may not. Let's find out.
Stay to the middle, stay to the middle. He's got in front of the leader. That's twice when Breitmeyer has been blocked. And he's on the dirty part of the circuit. He's actually off the circuit with his right-hand tyres. But somehow managed to hold on. How he didn't lift there. Every fibre of his being must have been telling him to lift. And he goes around the right-hand side of the Bizzarini, who just had, I wonder if he thought was one very wide GT40 that was coming up behind him. Blue on one side and red on the other as they come into Indianapolis for the final time. What a way to kick off the 2025 Le Mans Classic. And down into Arnage, it's the sprint now to the line. And can Maxwell Lynn make his advantage in the Porsche curves count? It'll be the Ford chicane, Bruce. It has to be the Ford chicane.
How fitting that may be, but I think this time Breitmeyer's got his car in front where it really, really counted. He's got plenty of grunts out of Arnage. Maxwell Lynn, how much can he haul him back in? He will haul him in, but can he get past?
And Ludovic Caron's car has stopped out on the circuit as well, so he's not going to make the finish. These two have put on a phenomenal show. Their co-drivers, their connections in the pit lane are watching the big screen. Don't show us, show the racing, please. And again, traffic for the leader. Breitmeyer once again will have to pick his way through. And it was a Shelby Cobra last time that didn't help him out, certainly. And they're together. There's an Elan in front of them. This is the last chance for young Lynn. I think Breitmeyer has managed to get this one done. Not going to be able to throw it down the inside into the first part of the Ford chicane. Keep it pointed. Do not lose the back end now.
Well, what
Right,
an
trying his best
extraordinary
to throw
ending.
that
You
away.
could not try harder than Maxwell Lynn, but hats off to Emil Breitmeyer, brother Olivier, absolutely delighted with that. They didn't know which way it was going to go. As I said, I've seldom seen GT40s being driven so sideways.
Brilliant,
Andrew,
yeah.
that was superb.
Yeah, do you know what? The red car, I saw a race in period, and it was driven by a bloke called George Drummond, and his family owned a bank.
Oh, that bank, yes.
Drummond.